Oh. Hey everybody, you're tuning in to the Canary Cry News Talk live stream pre-stream. Thanks for being here. We're going to get the show started in just a second. We're doing it, folks. We're doing it. It's a brand new week and there's brand new things to be talking about. We appreciate everybody being here. There's probably not any new people here on the pre-stream, but if you are new, thanks for being here. You're gonna have a good time. Things will be a little weird. There'll be some inside jokes, but that's okay. You're welcome. And when you're here, you're family. That's right. Olive Garden stole that from us. While I'm at it, I'll tell you about canarycry.party. It's a URL. I know. Not everybody is used to the .party thing, but hey, that's what you get here. Exposure to brand new internet things. Canarycry.party will take you to a wonderful land filled with Canary Cry resources. You can get connected to the community, of which there are multiple ways of doing that, but like I said, canarycry.party. When you're here, you're family. That's now the official slogan for canarycry.party. I just decided this. But you can head on over there. I highly recommend you sign up for the newsletter. We send out the sources for every show. And here's the thing. This is not just entertainment, folks. This is equipping you with what we believe to be some of the most important stories, and not just the stories, but the representations of these stories that you can use in your real life. All right, folks, we're going to get the party started here. So make sure to stay hydrated, buckle your seatbelts. Let's go.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy. You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is October 31st, 2022, and we are live to tape on episode 554. And today, October Demise. Ooh, spooky. And signing on from Off the Grid, Razzle Dazzle. I'm your best buddy, Basil.
And my name is Gonz of the Face Like the Sun channel, director of the Age of Deceit films, who also happens to be your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ, a.k.a. the Cabana Boy, live to tape from California. Here to serve you a podcast that brings you the best news, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ, while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events. And today's emergent phenomena is Reformation. Because, of course, today's allegedly the day Martin Luther.
Reformation Day. Yeah.
Nailed his theses.
95 theses. 95? Oh, gosh. How many were there?
95, yeah.
I like the addition to your intro there.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always said, I've said for years that your work, your masterpieces, of which there are multiple now, Age of Deceit, will forever overshadow anything I can accomplish. And I think it's probably where the majority of people find us is looking for you. So I like it. Put it up front, put it forward so people know who they're dealing with.
Yeah, I think just doing some work on it now for the next one, it just reminded me that, that is how a lot of people found us in general, just on the internet. Well, so there is a danger there. There is a danger, and I'm willing to weather the slings and arrows of this phenomenon, which is the pro-Gons anti-Basil crowd. Of which they are, I would say, a loud minority of people who found you and are huge Gons fans, and then they find this show and they're like, I hate this guy. Why is our beloved Gons doing anything with this silly clown man? And it's okay. I can handle it. It's been 10 years of this now, so I can understand, maybe if they're on the Face Like the Sun channel and then suddenly, you appear. So I can see how that's abrupt. In hindsight, I was like, that might have been a bit much for some people.
Maybe a bit much, but you know what? We can't go back in time. Well, you can't. I can. Quick check, Gons. Quick check. Are we on the Rockfin?
We should be. I'm double checking here as I was looking at
I will also double check. And while we double check, we recommend everybody else double check. Go to rockfin.com/CCNT. That is, we're trying to build up that channel a bit because we are told that is the safe place for people like us. Our safe space. Yes, obviously the Rumble has been kind to us, but Rockfin is another way to do that. And as usual, YouTube is like the most popular thing, and nobody likes getting off of YouTube. But we are just constantly in danger being over there on YouTube. So highly recommend anybody over on YouTube go follow us in one of these other locations. Because, also we need to turn off the YouTube stream sometimes. We get a little too hot for YouTube, and you'll want to catch the rest of the show over at Rockfin or Rumble or Odyssey or something like that. That's enough of that, video. Guns. Yeah, if you're watching live on video. And if you're not, and you're one of the beloveds who listen to us on the podcast version on Apple Podcasts, make sure to leave a review. Okay, that's enough chitter chatter, don't you think?
Yes, we're behind already.
Already. Let me tell you about the show, Gons. Let me give you a rundown.
Let's do it.
Oh, there's no jingle this time, huh? All right. Well, here we go.
Do you want it? Here's the jingle.
Here's Basil.
Let me bring you up to speed.
Cutting corners, man.
No, sorry. The protocol that activates wasn't activated. Okay, folks, here's a rundown. We're going to be checking in with the Pelosi story. One hammer, two hammers. Were they in their underwear? We don't know, but I told you it was going to get weirder. We'll tell you what we know. The updates over the weekend about the Paul Pelosi attack there in San Francisco. And then, of course, Flippy update will be coming in hot with some clips. Gons has prepared a presentation that my only job is to respond to, so that'll be fun. We'll be checking in with how right-wing extremists are using deepfakes. Legs Joe Biden there. A little bit of an update on witch talk. Yes, we've explored the witchcraft TikTok phenomenon. And seems like the mainstream is back at it again, exploring this interesting rise in occult practices with the young people and TikTok. What does that mean, and why does it mean? Yeah, I know, it's confusing. Then we'll be jumping over to checking out some beast fashion and how that is being influenced by COVID and the whack cheens there. Very interesting update as far as that goes. And then a little check-in on China's zero COVID policy and how that is fortifying the sort of technocratic utopia vision that will ultimately end with all of us stuck in a matrix. And then at the end of the show, of course, Antarctica update. Very, very interesting Antarctica update that, again, further confirms our theories are correct. But first, Gons, our opening stories.
Chocolate is good for your teeth.
I like it better than anything else. I enjoy it.
Chocolatey. Science is the answer. Science, 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 and science.
That crazy Nancy, she is crazy.
He doesn't know what he's talking about once again.
She's lost it.
She's lost it, Basil.
I don't know if I really registered the Trump addition to the Pelosi
it's good.
thing there. It's good. I like it. Okay, folks. Yes, the weekend. Wow, what a whirlwind of updates about the Paul Pelosi attack. I told you things were going to get weirder. It's going to get more confusing. Man, has it been more confusing.
I'm very confused because at this very moment, hashtag Pelosi gay lover is trending.
Yes.
Just to add to the monster that is Paul Pelosi.
Yeah, I don't see that one. I do see hashtag Paul Pelosi is gay.
Okay.
Which, look, Elon's in charge now, okay? This is the kind of free speech madness. Oh, no, it's destroying our democracy. I'm going to start out by taking this this story from The Guardian real quick, just to check in, see what The Guardian's saying about this. The headline here is a secret bathroom 911 call, how Paul Pelosi saved his own life. Paul Pelosi, the husband of U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who was attacked with a hammer during an invasion of their California home, saved his life after secretly, telephoning for help from the bathroom. According to Politico, which has been sort of the lead, they've been sort of the bastion of breaking storyness on this whole thing. So we'll be referring to Politico a few times. According to Politico, Paul Pelosi told the alleged intruder, identified by authorities as David DePepe. Now, there is some confusion last episode, Gons, about how to pronounce this guy's name. And surely this confusion is not relegated to the walls of Canary Cry Newstalk. The entire mainstream media has no idea how to pronounce this guy's name. But you pointed out that it could be pronounced DePepe, and how there's, of course, a little NLP connection to Pepe the Frog, right-wing extremism, stuff like this. So we're going to be using DePepe because that is what the news folk, the news readers like to say. Paul Pelosi told the alleged intruder, identified by authorities as David DePepe, that he needed to use the restroom. Paul Pelosi's mobile phone was charging in the bathroom at the time. The 82-year-old man then made a surreptitious call to 911. Ooh, there's a nice little NLP for you. 911, and remained connected. Okay, so again, remember, we are led to believe that David DePepe broke into the house. Of course, it's Paul Pelosi, husband of Nancy Pelosi. No alarm went off. Yeah, no security automatic guards. No security guards, nothing, no camera footage, no, Ring doorbell, no nothing. We're led to believe that there's absolutely no security in place at Paul Pelosi's residence. Sure, whatever.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm more surprised about the fact that during an intrusion, Paul Pelosi can go, time out. I got to use the John. Like, I got to get in there, and the guy, the intruder's like, all right, sure. Sure.
The intruder just lets him go to the bathroom, close the door.
That's like 101 kidnapping no-nos,
Yes.
You learn that as a child criminal.
Again, more questions are raised, the more reporting happens. Let me just prepare you all for that. Okay. The emergency services dispatcher, Heather Grimes, heard an exchange between Paul Pelosi and his attacker as he spoke in, quote, code to alert the authorities that there was a problem. Quote, what?
What's the code?
What's the code? I know. Quote, "What's going on? Why are you here? What are you going to do to me?" Pelosi reportedly said while on the call. "It's suspicious. Oh, a suspicious Grimes then notified police for a wellness check." So this is the explanation for the wellness check, okay? The reporting was the police just kind of happened to show up at 2:30 in the morning for a wellness check. And this is kind of the story. Again, raises more questions than it answers. This is just a bad home intruder if he's letting Paul Pelosi go to the bathroom, close the door, lock the door, whatever. And then it goes on and, you know, talks about how Paul Pelosi, you know, he called David, his friend, on the phone, and that was kind of taken and run with some of the more, I don't know, exciting online outlets saying that David and Paul were friends. The rebuttal there is that Paul was speaking in code to try to not, you know, set him off or whatever. Okay, sure. So that's kind of the answer to the wellness check thing. Now, there was also an issue of the unknown third person in the home. Did you hear about this? Well, you did, because I told you. Now, this is very difficult to find mainstream reporting on. I'm going to be bringing it from Breitbart, but only because Breitbart references the source on this. So Breitbart has a headline here. Update. Police say only two. Oh, they changed the headline. That's nice. Police say only 2 people in Paul Pelosi's residence at time of assault. This used to say unknown third person in the home. Okay. So they changed it. The story is developing as we read it here. Previously, this Breitbart article questions a piece of the Politico original reporting.
There's a screenshot of it in the article, which helps.
And they have the screenshot. They have the highlighted screenshot. And in the Politico reporting, it said officers arrived at the house, knocked on the front door, and were let inside by an unknown person.
1.
They discovered DePepe
2.
and Pelosi
3.
struggling for a hammer. Right. So they were let in the house and then found DePepe and Pelosi fighting over the hammer.
Oh, it was a ghost.
Which
it's Halloween season. It was the unknown person. It was a ghost.
Which led a lot of people to believe that there was a third person.
Nancy.
The update on this Breitbart article says, update, San Francisco police have clarified to NBC News that no third person was in the home on the night of the attack on Paul Pelosi. The original article on this misunderstanding of unclear language from authorities is visible below. So that's where they gave you the sort of, the update, the source from Politico. Now, I went and I checked the Politico article again, and they did change it to read like this. The police chief said Friday that officers arrived at the house, entered through the front door, which someone, they didn't specify who, opened from the inside. So it went from an unknown person.
It was a robot.
Opened. Yeah.
Or an alien.
It went from,
they don't have personhood yet.
It's really wild. Yeah. The reporting went from an unknown person opened the door to they didn't specify who opened the door.
Something
so
spooky.
Really, we're led to believe that is either Paul Pelosi or DePepe opened the door and then ran and took their places to start fighting over a hammer really quickly or something. It just still doesn't make any sense. So there's no clarity whatsoever, unless what probably, the most likely explanation is that the police opened the door themselves, which is technically illegal. So they don't want to say that they broke the law to protect Paul Pelosi, something, et cetera, et cetera. So that's what they're saying about the third person, is that there was no third person. Now, I do want to say this. All of these explanations are coming from the San Francisco Police Department. And if you are Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of the House, most powerful person in the San Francisco area. You know, she's third in line to be the president. She's very powerful, perhaps even the most powerful person in California, at least politically. You just gotta, it's just, you just can't help but think that the police are going to say whatever they're told to say,
the
or
text
something.
message from Nancy says.
Sure, exactly.
Even if it means
now,
changing the story.
let me be clear. I don't have any evidence to this. I'm not proposing a conspiracy. I'm just saying every explanation that they give asks more questions than it answers, and it just seems like a PR job to settle down some weird stuff when we're 9 days from midterms.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the context of that. Yeah.
In the context of all this, right. Now, one of the other very interesting facts or I don't know, rumors was that either Paul Pelosi or David Pepe or both were in their underwear at the time.
Yeah.
So let's head over to heavy.com.
That's heavy.
And the headline is Paul Pelosi underwear rumor in David Pepe attack debunked. Fact check. Good. We need a debunking or whatever. It goes like this. Twitter is flooded with people assuming as a fact that David DePepe and or Paul Pelosi were in their underwear when San Francisco police arrived at the scene of a hammer attack. But is that true? What's the evidence? We'll get into the evidence in a second. But in further exploration of who this David DePepe guy is, of course, as we expected, the team of crack investigative reporters looked into his social media. This even asked more questions than it answered, because apparently they found the wrong David DePepe for a second and were reporting on the wrong David DePepe's social media presence.
Conveniently a conspiracy theorist.
Yes, and that's even more ridiculous than, so they found an incorrect David DePepe. He was a right-wing extremist, crazy person, of course, all the things you'd expect. They eventually found the correct David DePepe, who was a member of a nudist colony in San Francisco. Who now he's not there now. He was previously the member of a nudist colony, and somebody, some investigative reporters went to that nudist colony. They found that it's, as you'd expect, a nudist colony in San Francisco. They have Black Lives Matter signs and gay pride signs and pot leaves hanging in the window, stuff like that. But then, the further explanation is like, oh, no, he used to be a nudist and leftist radical, but then he switched, he changed during Gamergate, which I don't have time to get into. He switched sides. He became a radical, right-wing extremist after he was a leftist radical nudist. Sure. Okay. Whatever. Now, back to the heavy.com fact check. The only credible media outlet to report that DePepe was in his underwear has retracted it. No credible media outlet has reported that Pelosi was in his underwear, and authorities have not confirmed either. Even removing the subjective judgment of what is credible from the equation, no website or news site that is repeating the claim has offered any evidence or named sourcing to back it up. I thought this was fun because suddenly they want named sourcing. Suddenly the mainstream cares about named sourcing. They can't just say somebody familiar with the topic, somebody, who you're keeping anonymous.
In this context.
Exactly. Yeah. So we've been tracking for a few years how named sources have completely lost their place in mainstream reporting, but suddenly it's the most important thing in the world.
Which probably shows that it's true, right? The fact that they would pull out that card, there's no hard proof.
Knows?
It's like,
yeah, who
seems
knows?
Like it must
Whatever
be some
you
truth
say.
to it if you're trying so hard to not, show
Yeah,
that it's not
I
true.
mean, I don't have any evidence, but
I don't either. I'm just saying.
We are inferring from what we know about the mainstream media. I'm going to wrap this up quick. The claim appears to have ignited when a single news organization, KTVU-TV, reported that DePepe was wearing only his underwear when police arrived. Although that news organization is generally regarded as credible television station, this is one of the most widely watched Bay Area news stations, KTVU-TV. It later posted a correction and removed the information on the underwear from the article. And they have to say, they love it, they have to say, KTVU-TV is a Fox-affiliated television station located in Oakland, California. The article was written by investigative journalist Evan Sarnofsky. He has a long career in investigative reporting in the Bay Area, having worked as a San Francisco Chronicle criminal justice reporter before coming to KTVU in 2020. He also retracted the underwear claim on Twitter, writing, quote, "I'm now told by other sources that DePepe was not dressed only in his underwear, working to clarify." So the guy...
It might have been completely birthday suit.
So yes, he was not wearing anything. So the guy who's a fairly famous, fairly credible investigative reporter who claimed with an unknown source that he was in his underwear has retracted, not even necessarily retracted. He says, "I'm now being told by other sources,"
yeah,
who
Nancy.
he does not name.
Nancy.
We have unnamed sources saying that he was in his underwear, and now unnamed sources saying that he wasn't in his underwear.
You have it all wrong, Basil. Evan Sarnofsky is the source. Evan is the source.
He is his own source.
He is the source.
Yeah. So
that's what they're doing here.
It's funny, because they are leaning heavily on the lack of sourcing for him being in his underwear, but leaning on the same unnamed sourcing for the fact that he wasn't in his underwear. So we see a wonderful, sort of catch-22 in the mainstream media, where they are letting us assume that he was fully clothed, even though he was a nudist, because we have no sources, even though we have no sources to say he was wearing clothes. So all this to say, confusion abounds. More questions, no answers. But it really is a fun time trying to keep up with this.
Yeah, this is exactly how I wanted to start off my Mondays.
Gary, what day is it? Monday. Monday.
Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
Gary, what day is it? Monday.
It is true. It is Monday. We're starting off the week, and yes, a very fun and exciting way to start off the week, Guns. For sake of time, because you've got children who need to be taught the Bible later today on Halloween, of course. Yeah. Reformation Day. Mm-hmm. We are going to be zooming through much of the plugs and things like that today. So you're welcome, everybody. But it is Monday. The only update I have, Gons, is that I am still sick as a dog. My ears are still quite plugged up. Again, I've been forced to ingest sort of a Hunter Biden level of Dayquil to do the show here.
You're doing it wrong.
Has got me all.
You're supposed to bathe. What? You're supposed to bathe in lemon juice and
the chicken, sleepy chicken, Dayquil chicken.
No, stay away from the sleepy chicken. Go with the natural stuff. You need a bathtub full of lemon juice, and then That's a lot of lemons. Some vitamin C.
Yeah.
And some vitamin
I've had
D.
some people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've had some people, very, very well-meaning, and I do appreciate the people who, are encouraging me to stay away from the over-the-counter stuff, which is very good advice. Talking about how, Dayquil does not cure the problem. It causes all sorts of other problems. I do agree. The problem is that, herbal tea with honey and lemon juice, it may heal me faster, which I am also doing, by the way. But the over-the-counter symptom relief is the only thing that's allowing me to do the show. So I am sacrificing just a bit of my body to be able to clear up and do the show.
It's like going to fast food, you know? You don't have time.
Yeah.
Got to eat something. Yeah, that's how they get you.
And I will say that something is happening with my brain, I think. It's a little concerning because everything sounds like a robot. You sound like a robot, Gons. I was listening to a podcast earlier today. They sounded like a robot. So maybe the nanobots are finding purchase in my brain and slowly turning me into a podcasting cyborg.
That's good. Well, let's. You don't need an update from me because I'm just ready to roll here. So let's get on.
Let's go. We're cruising. We're cruising. We got some executive producers to thank.
Executive producers.
That's right, folks. We're on the value for value model, which means we take no corporate money whatsoever. That's true. Who needs it? Corporate money means corporate incentives, and that has no place in your independent media. We are entirely funded by listeners of the show, and when they participate in keeping the show going, they become producers. That is not a gimmick. That is just how real life works. If you work or pay for a piece of media to be produced, you are a producer. And we have executive producers who come in with their generosity and their commitment to keeping the show going, not just for us, by the way. Remember, this is not just for the benefit of Gons and I, but it is for the benefit of everybody who gets value from this show. And that's why we like to thank them here at the top. We got a couple of executive producers, which we are so happy to thank. Are you ready, Gons?
Ready.
Okay, we are starting out with executive producer Anonymous.
Anonymous. Ooh.
Yes.
Anon.
We have an anonymous executive producer who comes in with a nice round number, and everybody knows this already. But if you're new, when you produce the show with your finances, if you would like us to disclose, or you don't mind us disclosing the amount of your producership, you make it a funky number. You know, you have 33 cents in there, 42.77, something like that. You make some sort of weird number message, and that tells us you don't mind us disclosing. If you don't want us to disclose the amount, you just make it a nice round number, and we keep it secret. And so executive producer Anonymous has also sent in an anonymous amount. Thank you very much, Anonymous.
Thank you.
Let's see here. There is a note, says, been volunteering a lot, haven't caught but bits and pieces, wanted to help out for others to enjoy the show. Right. Love you guys. Keep up the good work, okay? Thank you. We will. Anonymous executive producer. And look at that. Anonymous executive producer understands that they are producing not just for you and I, Gons, but for the rest of the listeners.
Yeah, absolutely. So, awesome. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Executive producer Anonymous.
Where'd you find this?
Yeah.
Wow. My ears are picking up the weirdest frequencies in everything. We do have one more executive producer, which is really fantastic. Thank you very much. And that is executive producer Felicia D.
Felicia D. Thank you.
Yeah. Felicia D comes in with a nice round number, which means we are not going to expose Felicia D. But thank you very much, executive producer Felicia D. I do not see a note.
Where'd you find this?
Thank you very much.
Just so you know what my brain is doing, Gons, when you play the executive producer jingle, my brain is picking up some weird frequency that sounds like a child playing a recorder very poorly in the background of that thing, of that jingle, like off-key, bad recorder being played.
There must be something going on with the connection or something in your headphones.
I think it's at my actual brain because things have been sounding weird today.
In the house too, sounding weird.
Yeah. Right, well. Okay, there you go. Those are our executive producers. Thank you very much. Remember, folks, it's not too late to become a producer of the show. If this show brings any value to your life, please consider putting value back in with your time, your talent, or your treasure. We'll be thanking more producers later on, but you can head on over to canarycryradio.com/support.
Canary Cry Radio. patreon.com/support.
That's right.
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
Time for the Flippy update. Flippy is our colloquial name for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. Oh no! And stealing our podcasts. We use talking about Flippy as a way to explore all the new, fun, and exciting ways that robots are taking over the world and how there's nothing we can do about it. Today, Flippy update is coming from Gons. What do you
Actually,
got, Gons?
it was shared by producer Kalub, so thank you, Kalub, for sharing this with us.
Thank you, Caleb.
This is a lecture by Dr. Harry Kloor, like floor, but with the K, Kloor.
Okay.
He's co-founder and CEO of Beyond Imagination, and he was presenting from Upgrading Humanity at the Future Investment Initiative 6 in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia.
Oh,
Because they're leading the charge, And we've reported on Biomni before, so that's not new, but
sort of the sleekest, sort of weirdest looking, futuristic sort of. They kind of tried to put some sex appeal on this robot.
Yeah,
it's a weird one.
Yeah, it's weird. And the video starts off. It shows him, giving jabs and stuff, things of that nature.
Yeah.
Very
they
medical.
literally show this robot giving an injection to a fake rubber arm. It is terrifying.
Yes. Okay. So this is the Biomni being presented by Harry Kloor, Dr. Harry Kloor.
It's a great pleasure to be here at the Future Investment Initiative because we are creating the future of manpower.
Manpower.
So this is Biomni. Biomni is an AI robotics platform capable of doing a limitless number of tasks.
Oh.
We do this by having a human operator using a VR haptics sort of system.
Classic.
Which enables it to train the robot and create data for it. That data then goes into an AI engine and it learns to do what you've just done.
Yes, we've been talking about this for a long time, but
yes,
this is very.
And it's sort of the most offensive part of this robot, and there's other robots doing it, is that it's not trained primarily on software, on AI generated situations that allow the robot to kind of figure out the world around it. But it starts off controlled by a human and then learns from the human. It's kind of like if you're in a job, you're being forced to train your replacement.
Right. That's exactly what this is.
Yeah.
And what's interesting as well is the video shows people on the stage grabbing a little controller in front of their laptops. Looks like a little PS4 controller. And, they're getting ready to control the robot.
Gamify.
Yeah, there's a little bit more here.
Imagine what we can do in the world if labor costs get cut in half. What does that do for the cost of goods? In the United States and around the world, we're concerned about inflation. Well, what happens to inflation when your goods cost less, the cost of energy is less because the manpower involved with it is less? What happens when I can duplicate a nurse so that instead of having 1.2 billion people who don't have access to any health care, suddenly they all have it because if I have one nurse, I can have 1 million nurses.
Oh.
I like his hubris. What if I can just duplicate nurses?
Yeah.
Just print nurses on, without end.
Yeah. First of all, I don't think this guy understands how inflation works, but that seems to be beside the point.
Yeah. Well, inflation happening, but everything's going to be cheaper. So, and so this next clip here, this is where I think the point you made at the beginning there about the disregard for humans as AI sort of takes over all the jobs, it comes to the forefront in a very explicit way here. And by the way, he's talking at this event. There's like nobody in the crowd. They're not really showing the full crowd, but they do a side shot.
Yeah, you can see pieces, like chunks of the chairs, and there's nobody there. There's
nobody
zero
there.
people sitting. Yeah.
Well, that's what makes it a little bit more concerning, in my opinion. When nobody's paying attention, that's when they start rolling this stuff out.
It's created to look like a presentation when it's simply just a piece of media they're getting produced, right?
This sort of system brings equality in several ways.
Oh.
One, I could have work centers in which a person can work through the robot while it's in his avatar function. And it won't matter what your race is, what your nationality is, what your sex is. It just matters on how well you're doing the work. Now, over time, our robot evolves. It does this on a task-by-task basis. So through the human operator, it learns to be able to do a task, and then it evolves to do that autonomously. So we're going to first start in surgical assist, and then it will move on to nursing. It'll move on to a variety of other healthcare aspects.
Well, what about the people? You just talked about equality. Like, doesn't matter what sex, what race, whatever. And then he literally just rolled right into, and they're going to replace all those people.
Yeah, it's great. It is like, I mean, first of all, it's hilarious. This is for equity and inclusion, and it doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter what you look like or what gender you are, because the robot will replace you all the same. Yeah. And this human training to the AI is not new. Just for a reminder for people, this is the same concept of the CAPTCHAs. When you're logging in to an account or starting a new account, and you have to, click on all the fire hydrants or stoplights, things like that. That is actually human beings. You are training an AI when that happens. And it was a genius system, because not only do you prove that you're not a robot, allegedly, but you are training the robot to prove that it is not a robot, which is a hilarious sort of, philosophical conundrum. And they're using the same idea here. Only a human could do this job, but the robot will learn and eventually replace the human. Of course, it's all being done in the name of medical care, or healthcare or whatever, because we can turn one nurse into 1 million nurses. Yeah. Well, sorry, other human nurses.
Once we take all your data, like how you do things, then you will not be needed. So
train your replacement, then we'll put you on universal basic income, and just let the robots do all the hard work.
Yep. And then one last part here for those of you watching, you will see the creepy wiggly fingers of Omni, and also his company's name is Beyond Imagination, and of course we like to bring up the Tower of Babel. Why did God disperse the languages and confuse the languages at Babel, or the Tower of Babel? Well, it's because humans can do what they imagine, anything they imagine to do, right?
Right.
With this system, I could put it into your parents' home. You could be 10,000 miles away from your parents. You could jump into the robot and be able to make your mom or your dad meals, make sure they did their exercise, go out to the garden with them. When you're not available, the AI can do tasks for you. And if the AI can't handle it and you're not available, then I can have one professional standing by for every 10 elderly. And this way, I can solve the elder crisis, because there's about 1/3 the number of professionals needed. So over time, this will go from surgical assist to manufacturing, to hospitality, to retail, to energy, logistics, you name it. It's really just limited by your imagination.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yep. That's it. And he answered a question that a lot of other roboticists haven't been able to answer. We've seen a lot of, hey, this can take care of your mom. Don't worry. You just continue to go out and be a useful member of society and let the robots care for your elderly. The elderly, they don't need your attention.
Well, every once in a while. And that's the thing. I mean, think of how cruel that is, that, if you're the elderly, you don't know when the robot starts moving if it's actually your spouse, or not spouse, or child.
That's exactly right.
Or if it's somebody in Iran, working the robot.
Yeah, right. That is the unspoken truth that he is speaking here, which is, yes, you can, tune in to the avatar, as he says, jump in, which is an interesting shows an interesting worldview there. Your consciousness jumping into the robot. Take care of your mom, hang out with your mom or whatever. But if you're not available, then the AI can take over. Now, we are thinking about the AI learning the physical tasks, of cooking breakfast or helping with pills or whatever. But surely the unspoken truth of this is the AI also learns how you act, how you sound, how you speak to your mother. And then, the elderly, when that robot comes online, they probably won't have a chance or won't be able to tell, is this actually my son tuning into the robot to hang out with me? Or is it the artificially intelligent, learned version of my son? And, it's really a dystopian nightmare being presented in such a humanitarian package.
Well, how the reason why everyone's going to do it is because in most likely scenarios, they're going to get paid to do it, right? Because you need to give the data.
Yeah. They all want to share their data.
But what if they don't, Mr. President?
Pay them more.
Yeah, he's whispered the agenda over the years. So, Speaking of Joe Biden, is there anything else you want to say about this?
Real quick. Yeah, just real quick. Shout out to Ebony Blaze says, so these demons are human possessed. Yes, that's very good. Thank you, Ebony Blaze.
Yes. Okay.
All right. What's Joe up to?
Little Biden.
We are in Deepfake.
Got hairy legs. Got hairy legs. Got hairy legs. Hairy. Got hairy legs. Hairy. COVID.
Yeah, so this is a week or so old, but I wanted to bring it because it was fun and it's kind of show worthy. Futurism.com had the headline, creepy deepfake shows Biden sing the national anthem, in quotes, Baby Shark. This is equal parts terrifying and hilarious. It's terrifying and hilarious. Someone deepfaked a video of President Joe Biden singing Baby Shark and calling it our national anthem. And as scary as that president is, the video itself is pretty amazing. Let's watch, shall we? This is at least a clip shared by the independent.co.uk. So I'm not 100% sure if this is like the edited version with the background music or what's going on. But this is what was shared on indie.co.uk.
And now, our great national anthem. Baby shark doo 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 doo, baby shark doo 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 doo, baby shark. Mommy shark doo 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 doo, mommy shark doo 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 doo, mommy shark doo 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 doo, mommy shark.
Sounds like a weird, I wonder if they had to put that Jaws stuff underneath because Baby Shark is a copywritten, mega economically successful song.
The article continues.
Very funny.
It is very funny. The article continues here. Shortly after the edited video began circulating, the right-wingers claiming alongside it, of course, that it was evidence that Biden was suffering from dementia. And Associated Press debunked the disinformation associated with the video and confirmed that it was indeed a deep fake.
Oh, good. We're fact-checking the deep fake of Joe Biden singing Baby Shark.
Anybody watching this, if you're just hearing it, maybe you're like, oh my gosh, did he really sing that? But when you're watching it, it's like, I know. But I can see somebody who's not really paying attention get fooled by it. But when you're watching it, it's very obvious that it is deep faked.
So back in 2016, when we were screaming about deep fakes and everybody was ignoring it, and the dangers it poses as far as like truth, just in general, like you won't be able to believe anything that you see. I think it's interesting because it almost feels like debunking these obviously fake things is part of a social engineering program. Because if you make a habit of debunking even the most obvious deep fakes, then you can get away with
you're setting the standard.
Debunking. Yeah, you're setting a standard, but then everybody is of the mind of like, oh, well, okay, they debunk even the stupidest deep fakes.
Right.
So, then it leaves room for a real deep fake, a real convincing deep fake of something more important, say Putin, launching a nuke or something like that. And if that doesn't get debunked, then the assumption is that it's real. Like, of course, if it was fake, they would do it. They debunked the baby shark video, So I feel like this is part of a much longer social engineering program.
Yeah, 100%.
That will be almost impossible to spot later on.
Yeah, a couple more lines here in the article. In spite of the high creepiness factor, however, it's worth taking a moment to recognize how impressive this technology is. While it's fairly clear that the president's voice and mouth have been edited in this specific example, an untrained eye or a cursory glance, such as on TikTok, where the video is also circulated heavily, might not catch that it's a fake. That, in and of itself, is a huge feat of technology that has only just begun being perfected. We've entered a brave new world of AI, and it's able to make creepy, hilarious, and alarming videos of the president singing children's songs and calling them the national anthem. The humanity!
What is the outlet here?
Futurism.
Futurism, yeah. They're only, for a website sort of dedicated to, exploring the future, they're about 7 years too late on the deep.
Welcome to the club, Futurism, talking about the concerns of deep fakes and doing so in this particular occasion of Creepy Joe singing Baby Shark.
Silliness.
Good distraction from a lot happening out there, though, I will say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Joe did promise us.
Armageddon's on the way.
And I don't think that is technically deep fake right there. I think that's real. But because,
No, I was going to say, speaking of TikTok.
This girl must be practicing witchcraft.
Oh, yeah. Newsweek.com. Headline, how TikTok is drawing young people into the occult.
What is this? Fringe podcast online?
No, Newsweek, the Central Intelligence outlet. Just drawing on opinions created by lowly podcasters to make stories.
Yeah.
Witchcraft and spiritualism are often associated with dusty old books, red velvet drawing rooms, and a general sense of old-time curiosity. But thanks to social media, these practices have been given a new lease of life. In an age of uncertainty, loss, and economic turmoil, young people are increasingly turning to astrology and witchcraft for answers. Quote, modern technology has made it possible for people around the world to gain access to learning about mediumship and even practicing it virtually. Megan Alyssa, an evidential psychic medium with more than 234,000 followers on TikTok, told Newsweek. Evidential psychic mediums share evidence that they are communicating with the dead by claiming to reveal information that could not otherwise be known by the medium. Oh yeah, one of those.
Interesting how they just talk about this evidential psychic medium, explain it to you, and don't take even a split second to push back against psychics, online psychics, things like that. If this was a preacher who whatever, or an exorcist or some Christian thing, it would be framed in how he's a con man and taking advantage of people. But not so.
Yeah. She goes on to talk about how she teaches mediumship and stuff about the spirit world on Zoom and TikTok and Instagram Live. As of October 2022, hashtag WitchTalk, like TikTok, but WitchTalk, had amassed over 33.2 billion views globally on TikTok. It's a good number.
Just in time for Halloween.
Yeah, great number. I'm sure there's no ritualistic, numerological thing to it.
Yeah. Do you think we got that up to 33.3 from when this was posted at 6 a.m. this morning? Oh, no, yesterday morning. Yeah, certainly we're at 33.3.
Yeah. By the time people are consuming it, having the ability, this is a quote, having the ability to teach worldwide and connect with someone anywhere in the world for a reading has been very helpful for people who would have never had access to this before, Alyssa said. Joey, and then they profile a bunch of people here. Joey Zoto, Xoto, a digital entrepreneur with more than 184,000 TikTok followers, uses the platform to create paranormal experiences for his viewers.
Yeah, create.
Interesting. Creates it for them. He talks about perception and in one video that's been viewed 1.7.
Real quick, I do want to give credit. I want to read this quote from him. This is from Joey Zoto. Quote, "I would describe myself as an entertainer, using concepts such as mentalism, hypnotism, and general showmanship to create paranormal experiences," Zoto said. So it's kind of like a Dan, what's that guy? Dan Brown? Was he the, was he that magician fella?
No. Dan Brown was the author of...
Darren, I think it's Darren Brown, is a magician fella who his whole thing is sort of debunking spiritualism, debunking religious experiences using hypnotism and mentalism, stuff like that.
Yeah. Yes, good quote that he's sort of admitting to the fact that it's an entertainment quality to it, especially on TikTok and social media.
In a public quote, that's what he's saying. Because remember, Alex Jones says that he's an entertainer.
Well, it doesn't even matter because the end goal is the same thing: create paranormal experiences for his viewers. Right?
Got it. Yeah.
So continues in one video that has been viewed 1.7 million times. Zoto attempts to connect his viewers to a spirit called Leah. In this video, Zoto describes how Leah will enter the viewer's arm and cause it to rotate. His post has received thousands of comments, with many claiming to have witnessed something otherworldly. So yeah, I mean, just straight up occultism right through the video screen.
Yeah.
And then there's they profile another girl here. I don't know how to say this. Meganalism Medium. Quote, "I debunk a lot of fear-based beliefs regarding spirits and hopefully remove stigma and fear around the work as I do so," she said. Quote, "There's nothing to be afraid of. The spirit world consists of love, and it is this world here where we need to be more wary." Interesting. I think it's a direct shot at some people there. And then it goes in just more profiling. But yeah, in general, it's literally contacting spirits is sort of being highlighted on TikTok. Multiple billions, 33 plus billion views of hashtag witch talk, creating a whole subculture. And it's something we've been tracking, but it really is exploding.
It's an interesting mix. You know, you say literally contacting spirits, but within the profiles that they give, you have some who call it a parlor trick, basically, Joey Zoto. But then you have others saying that it is literal. It is sort of an actual spiritual connection there.
Yeah, well,
I think having both of those present in some way sort of disarms the reader, disarms the participant, you know, because you can draw in those who think it is real, literally, or those who just kind of want to be entertained by it or something. It truly kind of covers all the bases.
It really is interesting though, because, you know, everybody grows up on ritual, whether it's from a secular world or you know, a biblical world, whatever. Everyone has ritual built into them. So witchcraft being sort of a cultural norm in the secular context nowadays. And that's also, you know, Newsweek really doing its job. Here's another Newsweek article. I'm not going to read this one, but the headline is "The Witch Camps Where Hundreds of Elderly Women are Left to Die." And it's really sort of the woke social credit kind of, not social credit. What's the word I'm looking for? It's just sort of a virtue signaling of sorts in the context of you know, the witches of, in particular, Africa, Ghana more specifically, in this article being highlighted as
making
being targeted.
It a social justice issue.
Right. Social justice. Thank you. Yeah. Social justice issue. Yeah. So
it's interesting because I believe it was 2021, could have been earlier, could have been 2020, but we saw the court cases in the UK pardoning the witches of the past. And I think we saw some in Massachusetts, where there was actually laws passed pardoning some of the witches that were, you know, killed in Salem, or alleged witches or whatever. But yeah, really this ongoing social justice campaign to sort of atone for the wrong done to witches or those suspected of witchcraft in the past.
Right.
And that's another example of that.
Yeah, and it's just interesting how there's these groups that they highlight, like the Humanist Global Charity. The Humanist Global Charity works with those in witch camps. They talk about these witch camps where all these witches hide out to not get killed, to teach crucial skills like hygiene and basic science. Interesting. They're being taught basic science, crucial skills like hygiene. So just very...
it's interesting because in the popular talk about witchcraft, witches are sort of being redefined.
Yes.
In the occult sort of, I don't know, space, the social space, where they're not necessarily even connected to witchcraft in a supernatural way. Sometimes they are, but there's also other times, because I know we've gotten sometimes they are, sometimes they're not, but it's sort of being redefined as independent woman. Sometimes even literally that simply, not all the time, but sometimes, where it was these, women who did not subscribe to the patriarchy and lived outside of the normal lifestyle and didn't take a husband and things like this. And they were called witches. And that's a little bit what's going on in this Africa witch village story, is that, the social justice take on it is that these are women who are being shunned from society, who are being exiled because they're not participating in culture in its whatever typical form. And, how that is a social justice issue. And it's been interesting to watch how that conversation and the language used to, apply a sort of social justice obligation, tying it in with feminism and the patriarchy and things like that. And certainly there's probably a degree of truth to both those sides, but the fact that it is in the context of witches and witchcraft is just a sort of very specific, interesting reframing of the issue.
Yeah, and she concludes, there's a quote from a lady that's being quoted multiple times here in this article, who's sort of she's kind of going, not against, but putting the United Nations on the hot seat, like, hey, why aren't you guys doing more about witchcraft? And, it's different from COVID because in the West, people don't get affected by the accusations of witchcraft. And she concludes with this quote: all hands must be on deck to make witch hunting in Africa history by 2030.
Oh, interesting.
Like signaling to the UN people, like,
tying
make
it
this an
into
issue.
The 2030.
Yeah, make this a priority in the West. Everybody needs to fight for the witches in Africa. Very interesting.
Yeah. Well, again, I do want to just give the stipulation. The witch hunting also creates victims of those who maybe aren't practicing witchcraft and are just sort of not fitting into the thing. So I could see how that would be an important distinction to make, but the language being used is not helping to distinguish.
It's just one big thing.
Yeah, and to them it probably doesn't matter. I got an interesting witch talk thing here for you. This is coming from NBC News. The headline: Why Paganism and Witchcraft Are Making a Comeback. Okay,
tell us NBC News.
Yeah, so this is by Antonio Pagliarulo, author of the forthcoming The Evil Eye, The History, Mystery, and Magic of the Quiet Curse.
Oh, good.
Ooh, so
good guy to have quote on witchcraft.
If you're interested, yeah. 2 weeks ago, in the run-up to Halloween, I visited Salem, Massachusetts for the first time since the pandemic began. In renewing my annual Halloween pilgrimage, I was bowled over by what I found in the Witch City. Bigger crowds, longer lines, and a wider and welcome array of merchandise geared toward many different religious traditions and ethnic identities. Interesting how the witchcraft is not just includes different religious traditions, but also ethnic identities. Amid the curious crowds in black capes and conical hats, bags overflowing with DIY spell kits and candles to enhance prosperity, I overheard the same question: is magic really real? Really fascinating. Now, if he actually overheard this question, who knows? But this is sort of the center point of this article. Is magic really real, even in the crowds of people who are sort of celebrating it?
Yeah.
And it goes on. For me, the answer is yes. For me.
NBC News saying magic is real. Yes, magic is real.
Yes.
Tell us more.
Is real. I am one of 1 million plus Americans who, whether proudly, secretly, or dabbling through the power of consumerism, practice some form of witchcraft. Witchcraft, which includes Wicca, paganism, folk magic, and other New Age traditions, is one of the fastest growing spiritual paths in America. That one part, dabbling through the power of consumerism. Now, we've often broken down, or I've at least gone on long tirades about, what is magic? How does it express itself and manifest? I've gone into the legal system, the very act of writing, the language, written language as a sort of magical roots, having magical roots. But also things like logos as sigils, corporatism as a form of magic, the legal system, stuff like that. And in this case, dabbling through the power of consumerism. Yeah. And I think it just fits in quite nicely with some of the broader conversations about magic, which is the way in which we interact with the world, in the essence of consumerism, certainly pieces of capitalism, things like this, they are very magical in their sort of root concepts. The exchanging of value, the symbols on our currency, the things like this, all very magical. But again, NBCnews.com right here. I mean, they may be also referring to the sort of Etsy industry of witchcraft, Instagram ads, selling spell kits, things like this. But I don't think that actually, some might be tempted to sort of take away from its importance. Adds to the sort of power and the hold that, consumerism as a type of magic is concerned. Then it goes here. In 1990, Trinity College of Connecticut estimated there were 8,000 adherents of Wicca. In 2008, the U.S. Census Bureau figure was 342,000. A 2014 Pew Research Center study increased that projection several times over in assessing that 0.4% of Americans identified as pagan, Wiccan, or New Age. Most modern pagan worship, of which Wicca is one type, draws on pre-Christian traditions in revering nature. By 2050, it said, the number of Americans practicing, quote, other religions, faiths outside of Judaism, Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, and Buddhism, would triple, due largely to switching into other religions such as Wicca and pagan religions. The precise number of witches in America is difficult to determine because many practitioners are solitary, either by choice or by circumstance, do not openly identify as such, but the growth is evident, especially to those who've made it their life's work to study the community. Yeah, it's people's life's work.
Interesting. The circumstances that would cause them to be solitary. I wonder what circumstances caused people to be solitary. I don't know.
Well, exclusion guns, witch hunts.
Oh, that. I thought we were talking about a larger world event. The scary virus.
Yes.
Yeah.
A pandemic type of thing. Yes. And then it goes into some very specific thing. The author talks about their own petitioning to Archangel Michael.
Archangel
some
Michael.
Angelology.
Yeah. It's interesting how that's brought up. She has the Catholic background there, the Roman Catholic / pagan background.
Right.
And talks about the petitioning of Archangel Michael for protection.
Yeah, it goes into rituals and old world rituals. But then there's this article here, which is pretty interesting. Above the picture of the pencils. Paragraph. At the heart of these practices is the fact that witchcraft enables me to see the world through a more balanced lens. I've felt the reassuring presence of the otherworldly in the midst of difficult circumstances, and I know that magic happens when I summon the strength to draw boundaries or stir away the guilt that bubbles up if I choose self-care over sacrifice. So going back to sort of the self-care phenomena, which we've covered in the past as well. A lot of people have interesting, varying viewpoints on self-care instead of self-sacrifice, things like this. But it kind of leaning towards this idea that the practice in witchcraft is for you and balances your worldview and assuages some guilt and things like that. Kind of playing the role that religion has traditionally played. But just in a cooler way, and one that has 33 million TikTok views.
Yeah, and also, I mean, just biblically, if you're a follower of Jesus, it's very Luke 9:23 talks about whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves, sort of a self-sacrificial message going on. But in this case, it's like, well, no, enough of the self-sacrifice. It's more of a self-care context.
Skipping down a bit, it's understandable that some adherents have criticized the commercialization, arguing that Halloween witch costumes perpetuate negative stereotypes. The social justice thing is back. And the selling of DIY spell kits trivialize sacred practices.
They fight amongst themselves.
Very interesting. But this trend has created space for recognition and representation. Good. The proliferation of witchcraft reflects two timeless and universal urges: the need to draw meaning from chaos and the desire to control the circumstances around us. And I thought this was a very interesting detail to have put in there, because in the sort of traditional Christian explanation of witchcraft, at least that I was sort of given growing up, was that witchcraft is, doesn't have to take the form of like wearing a pointy hat and doing spells and stuff, but it is the urge to control, to exert your own will on the world around you. That was always how witchcraft was sort of broadly described to me growing up in my church circumstance. And it's interesting that right here, I mean, they kind of confirm what I was told as a kid, which is, witchcraft is fulfills the need, at least the desire to control circumstances around us. So it's your own will over God's will, is sort of to put it in the words of my childhood.
It is interesting too, where they say that with the dire catastrophes brought on by climate change, wars, and loss of rights, it's not surprising that witchcraft appeals to seeking to mend what's broken in ourselves and the wider world. Well, if this witchcraft methodology is true, then the dire catastrophes, climate change, and the loss of rights is also the witchcraft of somebody, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But what about that? What about those people?
I just had a conversation with somebody that I'm trying to perhaps get an interview with, who kind of describes themselves as, an occult practitioner. And, the one thing is very funny conversing with this person. The one thing, and I was surprised to find that we were exactly in agreement on, which is weird to say.
Basil,
one-to-one agreement
agreeing
with someone,
occultist. Go ahead.
An occult practitioner, was that the government and the powers that be practice witchcraft, their own form of witchcraft. And this person was sort of a anti-authoritarian type. Sure. So we kind of had that in common. But what we both could agree on is that politicians and governments and bureaucracies at their highest level are extremely powerful magicians. And so it's a very interesting sort of worldview that we shared in that sense.
This is how that is the awakening class, maybe. You know,
what do you mean?
The psyop awakening class, where we've seen the mixture within like the QAnon movement, where it's sort of mixed between New Agey and biblical values and stuff. It's all mixed in together. Well, maybe it's on the premise of agreement that, the government definitely are a bunch of high-level magicians trying to pull one on us, and we won't stand for it, you know?
Mm-hmm. All right. Then it goes into, connecting witchcraft with physics, quantum entanglement, stuff like this, making the connection between physics and the supernatural that scientists have always hated, but others actually agree with. Usually the ones studying it agree with it, but it's the sort of layman scientists that don't like it. Monday, as millions of people celebrate Halloween, known to witches as Samhain or Samhain, the pagan festival honoring the dead, countless jack-o'-lanterns will decorate doorsteps throughout America. I will take particular comfort in knowing that these glowing pumpkins, a lasting pagan custom, are embraced by so many of us. It's a reminder that magic can be both a beacon in the night and a source of hope and healing when we need it most. Aw. Thanks,
NBC Peacock at the very end.
Yeah.
Its own magical sigil at the very end of the article.
Yeah, it is interesting. Yeah, you're right. They do put the logo as if it's like a typeface character at the end of the thing, ending with its own, chaos sigil there. Yeah, very interesting.
Yep.
Signaling.
There you go. Well, the witches are having a party, but you know who's having a better party? It's Canarians.
Yay.
Canarycry.party. Go there.
Go. Do it. Go do.
There you will find a tree of links with everything from how to listen to the show, watch the show, connect with us and the community.
Yep, that's right. Go check it out. There's all sorts of great stuff. For sake of time, I'm not going to go all through it, but you got the Clips channel, join our text message list, newsletter. Go do it, folks. It's very important. Now let's thank some producers.
It's break time. Come on, take a break.
That's right. We're taking a break. And again, I'm keeping it short. You're welcome, everybody. We're on the value for value model, which means that we take no corporate money whatsoever. And if that doesn't mean anything to you, you should rethink the values of your independent media. But here, corporations have no say in what we do talk about, don't talk about. No sé. And that's the way it should be. They don't give us money, which is for the best. But if you get any value from what we do, consider becoming a producer with your time, your talent, or your treasure, because that's the only way the show continues. We're not. It's not a threat. It's just the truth. It's through the participation of our producers that we're able to do anything close to what we get to do, and we're very grateful for it. We have a few producers coming in with their finances to support the show, and we're going to thank them now. Gons, are you ready?
Ready.
Okay. Going to start out with Isaac G.
Isaac. What's up?
Thank you very much. Yeah, Isaac, he's our producer. He works incredibly hard to get the, to head the supply drop. He is the man, the myth, the legend, and I owe him an email. I apologize, Isaac. I'm publicly admitting that I am falling behind, but Isaac makes sure that the supply drop gets out on time, and is done to the utmost quality. CanaryCrySupplyDrop.com. Go check it out. Isaac comes in with $77.77 plus fees. Thank you, Isaac.
Thank you very much.
And a note here, shout out to all supply droppers to check their inboxes. There is a questionnaire. I need them to filled out from them. Thanks. Yes, this supply drop, it's going to be coming out in December. We are trying something new that we have not done yet. And so it's very, very important. If you're signed up for the supply drop, check your email box for something. I believe it's coming from the supply drop email. There is a questionnaire in there. It is not voluntary. It is very important that you go fill that out. I think it's only like 1 or 2 questions. But go do that and do it as soon as you possibly can, because it's very important for our supply droppers. So thank you very much, Isaac G. And all you supply droppers, go check your inbox.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Isaac.
Yes. And I will mention, go to canarycrysupply.com. We are giving away bonus copies of the mixtape, the Canary Cry mixtape, on cassette form if you sign up for the supply drop before December 1st. Highly recommend you do that. This 4th quarter supply drop is going to be a very special one.
Waiting for supply drop.
There you go. Thank you, Isaac.
Next up, we got producer Brother G.
Brother G, good to see you. Thank you.
And Brother G, that little rascal, he's coming in for $60.66.
Yeah, what is that?
Very
Illuminatus,
he's being a little rascal is what he's doing. And a note here, some ministries are doing rapture kits. Ever think about doing something like that? Or a pre-recorded post-rapture episode of CCR? God bless y'all, from Brother G. That's an interesting idea.
It is interesting.
A post-rapture episode of CCR.
Yeah, no, it would.
Maybe we put on a CD or something. It would need to be on a playable format if the internet or computers got busted.
Yeah, it's true.
A CD is interesting because your CD players, if you're post-apocalyptic and computers aren't working, you could probably still find a CD player in a heap of rubble somewhere.
Yeah, I like that idea. Or maybe, records are good too, as long as you have some kind of nice casing.
Yeah, that's a little tougher.
It's the most analog,
Rapture kits. So we do, post-apocalyptic gear once in a while. I think it's very fun, and I have my own thoughts about that. But it's an interesting concept, because if you need a post-rapture kit, that means you didn't get raptured. It's kind of an interesting... It's like a whoopsies. So you didn't make it. Here's some tips and tricks. I think that's a fun idea, Brother G.
It might be a good present, for family members who may not be it's like, hey, check it out. Look, here's what's going to go down. When it goes down, you'll know. And then they'll be like, wow, you're a crazy brother.
Yeah, I know you think I'm the crazy, rapture Christian in the family, but I just love you guys so much. Here's a post-rapture thing for when I disappear.
When we put on immortality. Here's a note. Yeah. Right.
That's fun. Thanks, Brother G.
Thank you, Brother G. Appreciate it.
Next up, we got producer Michael G.
Michael G. Ooh.
Yeah, Michael G came in with 33 plus fees over on the link tree. And a note that says, I am still here with you, my brothers. Thank you, Michael G.
Thank you, Michael
That's
G.
always great to hear.
Yeah, thank you.
Next up, we got Julie S.
Julie S. Thank you.
Julie S comes in with a nice round number, and I didn't see a note. So thank you very much, Julie S. Unless you saw one in the Proton mail.
Thank you, Julie S. I don't think so.
Okay. Thank you very much, producer Julie S. Nice to see you back on the list. Next up, we got Sir Morv, Night of the Burning Chariots, with 1111 on a 159 episode streak.
159. Thank you, Sir Morv.
Next up, we got Sir Alex Protocol V2, Night of the Berean Protocol, pocket full of sevens, 95 episodes in a row.
95.
Tweakers. Oh, yeah. Man, thank you so much.
Thank you, Sir Alex Protocol.
Says thank you. So thank you back, Sir Alex Protocol. And I believe that concludes our list of producers who came in the amount of 777 or more, which entitles them to have a note read on the show. We got a few who came in under that amount. We'll thank them now. Starting with producer Tammy C, who is now on a 2-episode streak.
Hey.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yes. We got Sir Casey the Shield Knight, 225 episodes in a row.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Streakalicious.
Next, we got Sir Scott Knight of Truth, 214 episodes in a row.
Oh yeah, Streakalicious.
We got Sir Darren Knight of the Hungry Pandas, 65 episodes in a row.
Thank you very much.
We got Dame Gale, Canary, Whisperer, and Lady of X's and O's, 190 episodes in a row.
Women rule.
Thank you very much.
We got Runk Smash, 10 episodes in a row. Thanks, Runk Smash.
Thank you, Runk Smash.
Last but not least, we've got the Streak sister, Veronica D, 190 episodes in a row. Indeed, and I believe that concludes our list of producers, financial producers for this episode. Thank you so much. Remember, you can produce the episodes of this show by heading on over to canarycryradio.com/support.
canarycryradio.com/support.
And thank you all for your patronage. And I have one more thing before we start the next topic.
Okay.
Shut up and take my money.
Thank you for your patronage. Thank you for your patronage. Thank you for your patronage.
Okay, next episode is episode 555, which is fun for a couple reasons. We will be doing our knighthood special, as we always do on the triple-digit repeating episode numbers, which means you can get your knighthood or damehood. You can be inducted into the Canary Cry Roundtable of Knights and Dames for supporting the show, which usually, is reserved for those elite producers who support the show in the amount of $1,000 or more over time or at once, however it works for you. But on these triple-digit repeating episodes, we do a knighthood special, which is you get the knighthood or the damehood for the amount of the episode. So if anybody has been itching to get a deal on their knighthood or damehood, next episode is the time to do it. That'll be Wednesday, so get your knighthood or damehood amount in before Wednesday, and this time will be 555. That's still about a 45% discount from the regular knighthood or damehood. This only happens every 111 episodes. So if that's something that appeals to you, if you want to be inducted into the Canary Cry Roundtable of Knights and Dames, honored on the show and on the website, and participate in keeping this show going through the ups and downs. We know that this obviously, by the way, because I feel like some people, I think that this is obvious, but some people want to hear it. Look, we know that times are crazy and times are tough. We know it. We feel it. We're affected by it just like everybody else. Yeah. So nobody feel obligated to support the show financially if it puts yourself at risk. We don't want anybody being, supporting the show out of guilt or out of lack or anything like that. That is not what we're trying to do here. But if you are someone who is not as affected as other people, and certainly there are, some people are doing okay. Maybe they're feeling it, but they're not sort of in danger financially. That's who we're talking to when it comes to like the knighthood special or producing the show in general. So I just want everybody to know we feel you, we understand. There is no shame in not producing the show, but it is an opportunity for those who are blessed during this time, who are not as affected or not put in danger financially. Consider producing the show, because it's people like that who keep the show going, not just for Gonz and I, but for everybody who gets value from this show. So next episode by Wednesday, 555 will get you damehood and knighthood. And make sure to send in your knight or dame name so you can get knighted. And for those who signed up on episode 500 for the episode 555 knighthood track and challenge coin, you know who you are. I'm going to send out an email to you. But send us your knight or dame name, because we will be knighting and daming you next episode. Okay, there you go. That's all the stuff. I think we're done.
Yes, it's wake-up time.
Hey, yo, wake up.
It's Corona time. COVID-19, 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 coronavirus.
Vaccine. I am vaccine. Vaccine, number one way.
Most modeling is kind of acting like a
beast,
but making it fashion.
Beast,
but then make it fashion.
When we talk about beast fashion, you know,
beast fashion, baby, the fashion of the beast system. I love it.
Oh my gosh. You know, when we talked about it, people thought, what are you doing? What is this? I mean, some people were on board, but some other people didn't understand what the whole premise was.
We're the weirdos, man.
I know. I think this story or report by Inside Edition, who is the one that reported on this, summarizes kind of what we've been talking about for a few years now with concerning beast fashion.
Plastic waste from vaccine syringes has now been turned into fashion. Violetta Rydell worked as an administrative assistant at a vaccination clinic during the COVID-19 pandemic. I've seen a great amount of plastic in the trash daily. I thought, oh my gosh, I have to do something with it. The plastic waste created by the syringe caps got her creativity flowing, and a few months later, a fashion line was born. Rydell used what would have been trash bound for a landfill to make avant-garde clothing with an environmental message. The red caps of the Moderna vaccine strut down the runway in this red gown. And glitter now fills the plastic caps that once sheathed injection needles.
Sparkling?
The designer says she wants people to be surprised when they find out what her clothing is made of. These clothes prove that you can save lives and be on the cutting edge of fashion at the same time.
Is that what it proves?
Yeah, you know, so for those of you just listening, how would you describe this artwork, the fashion design of
bad?
What's being bad? Okay,
bad, not good. It's very futuristic. It's very sort of like 70s sci-fi looking. A lot of shoulder pads, a lot of red, a lot of sort of crown, you know, headgear, and of course extra dystopian because it's all made out of vaccine needles and caps,
syringes,
and
the empty syringes.
Lots of capes and things like that. Very shiny, very sort of futuristic headgear, stuff like that.
The one thing that I thought was interesting was this is kind of a shade at Moderna, because you know, Moderna is supposed to be this, they're saving the world and all this stuff, but her point in doing the art was we're taking all this waste that Moderna and Pfizer too, but just all, you know, the big pharma companies during the pandemic, all the billions of dollars they made rolling out these vaccines, it's really hurting the environment. So I'm going to do something about it and make this fashion line and to raise awareness about. And so it's a weird shade thrown at big pharma, which I thought was kind of interesting.
You're right. Yeah, the waste involved in the mass production. You know, there is a commentary there to the sort of mass-produced big pharma wastefulness type of message. Yeah, I was surprised. I didn't see anything in there. Did you see any like mask-related pieces?
Yeah. So there was one with a guy who's wearing like I don't even know what this is, like an eye patch kind of thing. It looks like one of those a cyberpunk or steampunk-ish eye monocles over one eye.
Yes, kind of like a Naruto sort of eye patch thing.
Right. So there's that.
Is that made of a mask? I mean, like, does anybody wear a dress made of masks?
I don't know. I didn't do a deep dive.
I think that's very specific too. They're like, you know, the wastefulness of the masks, obviously. What?
I'm looking at the background of Violetta Rydell here, the designer, and there is a dress there that has a sort of face piece that goes with it. It's a headpiece and a face piece. So
but it's
some
not
kind of
made of masks.
Well, it's not made of masks. No.
Yeah, because the wastefulness of the masks is another whole thing.
Yeah, well,
she didn't
yeah,
even
yeah.
touch the wastefulness
that's,
of the masks. It's very vaccine oriented.
Yeah, it would probably been kind of nasty to do that. Well, anyway, doesn't matter. Maybe that's next year.
Yeah, used masks.
As opposed to used,
vaccine needles. Yeah.
So anyway, just thought it was an interesting, fun little thing where beast fashion is literal in so many ways. And it is also, we were just talking about witchcraft and the occult and stuff. There's something about wearing something, attire that just every individual syringe represents compliance, like social compliance. Just making a robe out of it or clothing out of it. There's some kind of soul carrying kind of thing.
Stories. There's stories behind each and every syringe or each and every cap. Where are they now?
Yeah.
What led them to? That's very interesting. Each little square inch, every piece that makes the whole tells a story of someone.
Right.
That is heavy.
It's heavy, bro. What's with this heavy? Why is everything heavy in the future? I don't know. Don't tell me.
I don't know.
Okay. So yes,
China.
we're still in the context of COVID and vaccine. Also, just real quick, this is the literal, I am vaccine.
I am vaccine.
Kevin Faulkner. Maybe he should have been on the runway, because I think he fulfilled his duties there. But
his dress would have been made of cheeseburgers, though.
Well, that's a different guy.
Or the little coupon, you get a coupon for a cheeseburger after getting your vaccine.
Yeah.
Every coupon that makes up his vaccine dress is a cheeseburger not claimed.
I think you're getting mixed up the New York mayor or the old New York mayor there with.
I am.
Faulkner.
You're right.
That's okay. It's all right. It's all one big smush squish. Thing during the pandemic. All right, so let's move on to, in the context of COVID, China.
Welcome to Chinese news. It comes from China.
Ding dong.
China.
News.sky.com. The headline here, I wanted to bring this a couple episodes ago, but we'll do it today. The Green Code app, how China's zero COVID policy is turning cities, parks, restaurants, and shops into digitized fortresses.
Ooh, this fits into so many things. And just to be clear, we're not turning off YouTube.
No,
so this is a YouTube safe situation.
I think
hopefully.
so. Yeah, I don't think it's that bad. It says in the article, in China, seemingly simple things still pose barriers and blocks. Catching a train from Shanghai to Beijing used to be very easy to do. The high-speed rail network here is impressive. The two open and international cities were very well linked, but times are still not normal here, and that journey is now something of an undertaking. We made the trip this week, arriving into Beijing during the 20th Party Congress of the ruling Chinese Communist Party. It's a once every 5-year political meeting to choose the country's top leaders. If it's the zero COVID agenda that dictates much of why things are so complicated, Congress has turbocharged it. In order to simply board a train in Shanghai, we need 3 so-called green codes from 3 separate apps. Getting those required multiple tests, minimal contacts, and massive amounts of uncertainty. Green codes are essentially digitized proof you most likely don't have COVID. We need one from Shanghai authorities, one from the Beijing authorities, and a third so-called green arrow.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but simply testing negative isn't always enough. People's codes can change color simply for traveling from one another district or province where cases have been detected. In short, traveling to Beijing felt a bit like trying to get into a digitized fortress. It's a snapshot of how zero COVID is still dictating the lives of ordinary people. In most places, you have to have a green code to be allowed to do pretty much anything. Enter shops, restaurants, parks, and playgrounds, even housing and office compounds. So it's, sort of the dystopian fear that everyone was talking about with COVID and the lockdowns. Yeah, China playing it out, basically. It is happening in that way. But, we don't have to go through the rest of this article too much, because the point that I wanted to make is the language used here by news.sky.com, calling it a digitized fortress. And that specifically, I've been harping on this thing for years, but it really just bears repeating over and over again, especially when they start using the literal word fortress. It goes back to Daniel 11, where it talks about seemingly the Antichrist reign, his sort of time of wrath, where he gets to take over for 3.5 years. And if you go to Daniel 11, it talks about this king who exalts himself, which echoes Second Thessalonians, which is why we know it's likely the Antichrist here. He exalts himself and magnifies himself above every god, and he speaks monstrous things about or against the God of gods. And he'll show no regard for the gods of his fathers, starting in verse 37, nor for the ones desired by women, nor for any other god, because he will magnify himself above them all. And in their place, he will honor a god of fortresses, a god his fathers did not know, with gold, silver, precious stones, and riches. He will attack the strongest fortresses with the help of a foreign god, and will greatly honor those who acknowledge him, making them rulers over many and distributing the land for a price. So somehow this Antichrist feller has a very strong fortress that he will honor with the god of fortresses, which is a god that is unknown to his fathers. Seemingly like the ancient Judaic view of Yahweh, which is sort of what's referenced there, but the counterfeit version with the fulfillment of the prophecy and everything else. But yeah, it's always fun when the same word fortress is used in the context of a totalitarian technological system that makes it difficult to get around. In this case, in China, being reported on news.sky.com. So it's just sort of a tick in the I don't know. I don't want to call it "I told you so" because that's not really the point. But just sort of a indicative, another feather in the cap, so to speak, or another check mark on the list.
Another
of things.
data point.
Another data point to sort of line up where we are in history with eschatological passages that seem to have a very unique and particular application to our generation. Again, I don't think the biblical writers necessarily were sitting there saying like, oh yes, they will have iPhones and they will, they'll have to log in to some app to access stores, but the spirit behind it, is very much present.
Right.
And I think that's what we're seeing.
The principality even, perhaps.
Yeah. So there you go. I wanted to bring that because it's
interesting.
Sort of an interesting overlap to everything that I've been talking about. I've been calling the whole digitized thing sort of a fortress in the making for a long time. So for news articles to start using the word fortress to me was significant.
Well, and the comparison that we've talked about, whether it's a duplication or a counterfeit or an analogy or a metaphor or a literal, analog, something, who knows, of the digital world and the supernatural world. These things, perhaps one standing in for another or counterfeiting another or maybe even representing one another. Very interesting connection, especially when you find similar wording between sort of scripture and, mainstream news, but, regarding digital, the digital realm.
Right.
I got a quick update here.
Okay.
As we've, of course, we've had Anthony Fauci and some other people called to deposition to sort of answer for behavior and things during the midst, the most intense parts of the pandemic. There are some other people being called to account. This is from Cleveland19.com. The headline: Cleveland doctor who claimed COVID vaccine caused magnetism under medical board investigation. I was surprised that this is just now happening. We've seen so many other doctors and medical professionals be investigated and defrocked and things like this way earlier, and it's surprising that this person is just now getting a bit of this. A Cleveland doctor who previously claimed that the COVID-19 vaccine led to magnetism and caused metal objects to stick to one's body is now under investigation by the state of Ohio's medical board. According to the medical board, a citation was also issued to Dr. Sherry Tenpenny on September 14th. Yes, Tenpenny. I believe she was one of the Disinfo dozen. Was she not?
I think so, yeah.
I think so. excuse me, September 14th for failure to cooperate in the investigation conducted by the board.
I think that's an important detail right there, because
2 citations.
Yeah, it's not so much exactly what she said. It's more about the failure to cooperate that they're trying to get her on. But
yeah, I mean, there was 2 of them. This was also one, was not cooperating. But the citation states that Dr. Tenpenny failed to respond to board investigation requests for interviews, as well as failed to appear at deposition and conferences with the board. Deposition. Under Ohio law, investigations are confidential. Okay. Tenpenny, an anti-vaccine activist, has been outspoken about several vaccine conspiracies. She made false claims at a health committee hearing in June 2021 in support of House Bill 248, which would have prohibited vaccine mandates. Very interesting. Again, combining the sort of conspiratorial disinfo, misinfo, malinfo, sort of categorization with the very idea that mandates can be sort of ethically opposed outside of conspiracy theorizing or whatever. This is a connection we've seen for quite some time. You simply cannot oppose mandates without being some sort of goblin. About a month after the health committee hearing, a board investigator stopped by her office demanding to speak with, but she was unavailable. Okay.
There must have been more added to that article, because I don't have any of, like, half of what you read there is not missing.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, maybe they added it. Yeah. But I think it's interesting. Her being unavailable is sort of, I don't know, is a crime.
Where is she? Is she on vacation?
Well, let's find out.
She probably did well.
Let's find out.
Pandemic.
Investigators kept trying to contact her, but to no avail. Despite repeated attempts to get in touch with her, Tenpenny's medical license was renewed in September. Renz Law, the law firm representing Tenpenny, gave 19 News a statement saying, quote, Renz Law, on behalf of Dr. Tenpenny, denies the allegations contained in the September 14th, 2022 formal action report. We look forward to resolving this matter in the requested hearing and are strongly considering follow-up actions. The medical board said Dr. Tenpenny has requested a hearing, which is scheduled for April 7th, 2023. So a bit of a non-story, but it's kind of like a bit of a cat and mouse. We sent emails, we sent letters, we didn't hear back. We came to your office and demanded, but you were unavailable, and we can't get a hold of you, so we're charging you for crimes. And then, of course, that got their attention, and her lawyers are setting stuff up for next year, April 7th, 2023.
Drag it on.
We'll see
how
that goes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Well.
Okay.
Anything else?
The time we are pretty short on time, so we should probably just get straight to talent, wouldn't you say?
Let's straight to talent now. Come on, talent. Where are you?
Break. Where are you?
This is break. Don't just consume the content, but become the content. Become the content.
Take a break.
Yes, help build the culture behind the community here at Canary Cry News Talk. If you have a God-given gift in the arts and expression, anything that is expressive, then contribute to the show. All we ask is that it's something related to the show. We're going to start off with audio production.
Audio production.
Hey guys. Hey.
Oops. Actually, I think I have a couple speak pipes here, but
yeah, we had a couple come in during the show, which we haven't had a chance to review. But there was one regarding the Indiana meetup.
Okay.
That I think maybe is worth playing, and I trust that it's not a problem.
Okay. Well, let me get the
we'll
audio
do that
production.
Later.
Yeah, let me get the audio production out of the way first, because it's happening. It's happening right now.
Let's go. Let's do it.
Yeah. So, Brother G, again, we're going through the list of 54
more clips.
Yeah, more clips. And,
let's do it.
Yep. Let me try to just kind of make sure I'm not hitting the same ones as before. I could be, and please, again, if I do, then let me know, Brother G. Let's do because it's today. This one called Yeah, let's play it. Here we go. Come on.
Let's play.
Blood-sucking freaks.
That's the liberals.
Of course, it's Halloween.
Oh, AJ.
What about this one? I'm not the villain.
I am not the villain in this story. I do what I do because there is no choice.
Ooh,
sounds
there is no choice.
Sounds like Satan just saying, God made me evil.
Right.
And then there's what about this one? Things are gonna get worse.
Things are going to get worse before they get better.
Oh, good. Thanks, Joe. Joe brightening our day.
Reassuring words from Joe. Thank you very much, Joe.
All right. Thank you,
and
Brother
thanks,
G.
Brother G.
Yep. Appreciate it. Okay. Let's do SpeakPipe real quick. I know we're kind of mixing it all up here, but let's do it.
Please leave a message after the tone.
At the tone, please record your message.
Leave a message. Beep.
Message.
All right. Yeah. Go to canarycrynewstalk.com. Look for a green tab on the right hand or the bottom. Click on it. It'll give you a pop-up that lets you record a message up to 90 seconds long. And we're going to play.
You're giving us permission to play the message, but it's not guaranteed.
Yeah, sure. We're going to start off with MLC, who sent us a SpeakPipe message.
Okay. This is Micah. I just wanted to give you guys an update and about my wife and ask for more prayers. But first off, just like to say thank you guys for your prayers. Her surgery date got moved from December to November 16th. So that's great. We do have a appointment on the 2nd to see if if the cancer spread into her bladder. We pray that it hasn't. So we do ask for more prayers. And thank you guys for your prayers, and we just want to thank God for answering them and listening as well. Keep up the good work, you guys.
Thank you very much, Micah.
Let's call the producers real quick.
Producers, assemble!
That's right. Producers out there, anybody willing and ready to pray for the show, for the producers of the show, and for the requests that come in. Micah's wife there battling. It's in the midst of a battle. Good news that the timeline kind of got moved up, but keep Micah and Micah's wife in all of our prayers for strength and healing and peace and comfort and all the important things that the Lord can provide.
Yep. Absolutely.
Thank you, Micah.
Thank you, Micah. We got a couple here from Liquid Bacons. It looks like two separate messages. One is only 11 seconds, and the other one is 1:30. I don't know.
Have you listened to these ones?
I have not listened to these.
Do you see the one? I think we have one from Rochelle.
We do have one from Rochelle. Yeah, that one's queued up.
Okay. All right. Do you trust that the Liquid Bacon ones are going to be... they can go through unscreened?
I don't know.
Okay.
What do you think?
I know. Well, this is why we have to screen them beforehand. Okay. We can. Rochelle has a good track record. Yes. I think we don't need to screen hers. There's one from Jennifer B about the Indiana meetup.
Oh, this is Sassy Fast Bees. Yes.
Yes. Both of those I trust, but we can give Liquid Bacon a chance here. And look, not to say anything about Liquid Bacon. This is just us. We've learned our lesson that we need to screen these things. But let's go. Let's see what happens. What follows is out of our control.
Hey guys, don't play on air. I just want.
Oh, there's that. Well done. Well done.
There you go. A great example. If you don't want us to play it on air, you say it at the top. Good job, Liquid Bacon.
Here's my question.
Liquid Bacon was probably twitching hearing us talk about it.
Well, here's my question. He did send two messages. That was one that was very short, and then there's another one. So I
think we'll save it.
Yeah, we'll save it. And
we'll screen it and save it.
Yeah.
We need to do that.
Yeah.
All right.
So we got a meetup report from Jennifer B.
I think it's information. I don't think it's a report.
Oh, it's not. Okay.
Yeah.
But we're good to play it. Yes.
Yes.
Play.
Hey, calling all Crossroads of America Canarians. Hey there.
My fellow Canarians, this is JBZ89. Are you near the Chicagoland area or the region of Northwest Indiana, south of Lake Michigan? Come join us Saturday, November 5th for food, fun, fellowship, and, if you like, frisky felines. We will meet at the Region Cat Cafe at 3 p.m. You can play with the cats, or you can just look at the cats through the glass window while you sip your coffee and chill. Then, later at 6 p.m., let's meet for a Mediterranean meal at Aladdin Pita. Get a hold of me at sassyfrostbees@gmail.com. Holla! Hope to see you soon.
Nice. We should slap that audio on top of the flyer and post that on our social. Hopefully, you know, it'd be great is if one of the Clippies would do that, but they need the file from us. We'll figure it out. Thank you very much. I forgot what the
Jennifer B or
username.
JBZ.
JBZ. Yeah, there you go. Indiana Meetup on November 5th. Go check it out. CanaryCrimeMeetups.com for more info.
Yep. All right, we got one more from Rochelle.
Hey, Basil. Hey, Gons. Happy Monday. And it's Halloween, so happy Halloween. Although there's really not too much happy about this day. I wanted to share something with you guys. I found out, well, I didn't find out, many smarter people than me, Bible scholars, you know them. Anyway, they agree that October 31st is quite possibly the day that let's just say God shut the door on Noah's Ark. So, and then the flood, and yes, not happy. Anyway, we've turned it into something different. And there's a long history of Druids and All Saints Day and all this. But I guess what we should be doing is remembering what happens when we don't honor God and at least try to follow his rules. Anyway, I just wanted to thank all the producers, and the jingles lately have all been so fun. I love it. And the artwork, keep it coming. It's just wonderful. Okay, have a great rest of your day, and stay strong for Jesus.
Thank you, Rochelle.
Thank you very much, Rochelle. I had not heard that before, but I'm sure there's a fascinating equation that leads to that conclusion.
Yeah, very interesting.
Fun.
Thank you. All right, let's do some art.
Okay. One art, please.
We'll start with Dame Allie of the Skillet Nation.
One art, please. Another one from Allie now. Here it is.
And, here we go. Sorry, had a moment there. Dame Allie is, wrong image on the screen. Sorry. Oh my gosh, I am completely failing. I'm failing, Basil.
No worries.
Stall me, fail.
Okay.
Help me unfail. Yay. Nope, still nothing. I still need more. Give me more.
Okay. Well, folks, this is the thing. We're live to tape, which means all the fun human mistakes and cringy, awkward moments are just part of the fun around here. Sure, other, better, more professional podcasters would take the time to edit these things out and craft a beautifully manicured piece of media for you that convinces you that they are more than human, perhaps podcasting robots, but not here at Canary Cry News Talk.
Stars and Stripes forever and ever, a Dame Epony Blaze haiku. Affordable care. We went to 54 states, says President Joe. Still only 50. I looked it up to be sure. Never know these days.
That's right, and it's in regard to a video of Joe Biden making a gaffe where he mentions there's 54 states. 54 states there, Joe. And to accompany this, we've got a beautiful headshot portraiture of Mr. President Joseph Robinette Biden. He's looking a little confused with a furrowed brow and his hair just a bit disheveled in the wind and a little twist in his lips sits there trying to remember just how many states, how many stars are on the flag. And of course, he's got his lizard eyeballs there staring off into the distance as he searches his memory for, a memory that perhaps got put on the back burner to make space for all his favorite ice cream flavors.
I know he's the president, but he is elderly, It's tough on the elderly. So maybe he just thinks, hey,
he's just an old man.
Yeah, I'm old. Maybe there's a few more states, There's some progress in the U.S.
He's so old that surely the U.S. has taken over some territory. Maybe he thinks Afghanistan is now a state, Syria, Libya.
Top secret documents no longer. There's no filter anymore between top secret.
Maybe he knows something we don't.
That's what I'm saying, man. Puerto Rico, maybe. I guess Puerto Rico's already kind of, but yeah.
Thank you very much, Dame Epony Blaze and Dame Allie.
Yes, thank you very much. All right, we're going to move on to Sir Dove, Knight of Respeltia.
One art piece from Dove.
Here's a note that says, "Peace. For this week's Bible artwork, I made an illustration for Isaiah 43:2. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and when you go through the rivers, they will not overwhelm you. When you walk through the fire, you will not be scorched. The flames will not set you ablaze." The photo was taken at sunrise over the lake at our Respeltia meetup earlier this month. Hope you guys like it. Keep doing what you're doing. I'll keep praying for you. Dove, P.S. I heard Basil mention it last week. If anyone wants to buy a copy of Psalms Net Volume 2 or Volume 1, he has an online shop here. Dove was here.bigcartel.com. Yeah, it's Dove working with the cartels.
Good. We're gonna put this. I'll put this in the newsletter next episode. I'll start putting it in there. Yeah,
just have it as a link. Yeah.
Yeah, the supply droppers, they received Psalms Nat Volume 1, which is a chock-a-block full of Dove Bible art, and Volume 2 is available as well over at his bigcartel.com site. dovewashere.bigcartel.com. Highly recommend, especially if you're trying to collect them all the Psalms and Nat Volume 1 and 2.
Yep. And he
thank you, Sir Dove.
He completes the note with, "I'll have other hand-painted items cycling through there also. Thank you guys for everything you do." So there you go. Thank you very much, Dove.
And the art here available is a beautiful picture of a lake at sunrise. Let's see. Yep. And it's got a dove with some, olive branch in its mouth flying down on the right-hand side. The colors are purple and pink and beautiful, and written across the water is, "When you pass through the waters, I will be with you." Thank you very much, Sir Dove.
Thank you, Sir Dove. All right. We also have one from Sir Salmon's, Knight of the Fishes. Mm-hmm. And Sir Salmon's has a note accompanying it. "Hey guys, did a little drawing for you today on Halloween. Basil and Gon's going door to door giving out Bibles and promoting the podcast. Gotta keep them ghouls and goblins away with the word of God. Many blessings from the fishes."
Yes, here we go. We've got an orange wash on a beautiful sketch of a samurai costumed lad. You can see the tape is holding it together, and the other one is a robot with googly eyes. So cute, so cute. It says, "No tricks, just the treats of the good news of the gospel of Jesus Christ with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events." And, these costumed characters, they are small. So maybe this is Gon's, you and I as children dressing up in our homemade costumes going door to door.
Either that or we're in the presence of a Nephilim.
Of a Nephilim, right. Yeah. That's probably more likely.
Yeah.
Got to get those Nephilim listeners. This is very fun. Thank you very much, Sir Salmons.
Thank you, Sir Salmons. Appreciate it. It's always good to see some.
It's a good Reformation Day themed post to make on social media. I might pop that up there.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, we have some microfiction. We actually have 3 today, believe it or not.
Ooh, ooh la la. Okay.
Microfiction. Microfiction.
This first one is from Runk Smash.
Pinned to the ground, Chris fights to escape the enforcement drone. Don't resist, it says mechanically. Then a strange sound and flash cause the full weight of the beast to drop on him. The air smells of Red Bull and cough syrup. And he passes out.
I think that's a little too real
good.
there.
That was a cold read. I was not expecting such hilarity. Thank you very much, Runk Smash.
Thank you, Runk Smash.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Red Bull and cough syrup have been keeping the show going for a couple episodes here.
You know, you told me something that concerned me before the show, because you were running a little bit late, hopping on this morning.
Oh boy.
Should I ask you? I don't know. It's not a big deal. But
what?
You did tell me that you're drinking your coffee and Red Bull, and I thought, wow, you're double dosing coffee and Red Bull.
Look,
that's a really dangerous mixture.
I got a big engine, Gons. It takes a lot to get it fired up. Okay. This is no EcoBoost 3.5 liter. I got a V12, baby. It guzzles fuel. Okay. And yes, especially because I woke up late, which means I'm extra drowsy. And I had to fire it up this morning.
Okay. All right, we got 2 more microfictions. This is the continuation of Anon's microfiction.
Yes.
Yes, it's another verse from it.
Love it.
Just then, he sees something out of the corner of his eye, crawling through the rocks and grass, a threat. Fauci, with a syringe in his mouth, is on the prowl, and he is not alone. Tagging along, there's unmistakably a certain software tycoon wearing a vest full of vaccine vials and more syringes. Basil can almost hear him whisper, "Let me shoot it straight into your vein. Vein.
Ooh, a wild Fauci and Gates have been spotted in the wild. On the hunt.
I love it. Thank you
very much, Anon.
We got one more from The Sentinel. Here we go.
The outsiders stand shoulder to shoulder, weapons drawn.
Steady, we'll take him together. The shield knight reassures his comrades. Talrus approaches them slowly. The molten man stands head and shoulders above his druid companions.
Yes.
And the Sentinel did a wonderful job of sending in the character count, which we do have generally a tweet-sized character count for these microfictions. This one came in at 233 characters.
Well done, Sentinel.
Thank you.
I like how we are very public about the signaling, the mocking signaling that we do.
It's all part of the fun.
It's all part of the fun.
Part of the fun. There you go. That concludes our list of creative producers who sent stuff in for the show. Remember, if you're a creative person, an artist, a musician, a writer, you can make something for the show, send it on into the show, and we'd love to feature it. It's building the community, expanding the lore, and overall just a bunch of fun. You can send that stuff into canarycryradio@gmail.com. And real quick, Gons, I want to read a couple of reviews, real fast ones. Sure. These reviews on Apple Podcasts are essential for the health of the show. And if you have not sent in ratings and reviews on Apple Podcasts yet, I urge you, I beg you to please do so, for so many reasons that I'll get into when I have more time. This one is from Cooper, iTunes, 5 stars. Great show. The Boys Breakdown Media tri-weekly from a biblical perspective. Great listen. Thank you, Cooper, iTunes. Then we got Fred number 1, Fred #1, 5 stars. Best podcast in the metaverse and beyond. 2 chef's kisses emojis. Very good. Thank you very much,
there's Fred. Oh, there it is. I found it. Sorry, I'm looking for it on the screen here.
Good luck, Gons. I'm just cranking through these. This one's from 123 $, $,
So a robot.
5 stars. Solid breakdown. Thanks so much for supplying news and entertainment. Love the show. Love you. 123 $, $. One more here.
Children?
We got. Yes, you're right. That's Elon's new kid. This one's from Night of the Hungry Panda. Thank you. 5 stars. 5 stars. What's better than a TikTok challenge? The value for value model. Stop wasting your time, talent, and treasure and listen to Canary Cry News Talk. Thank you very much. Night of the Hungry Panda. That'll do it. I'll have more to read next time. But please, if you have not done it, ratings and reviews on Apple Podcasts is truly one of the only ways that we can fight back against the algo wars right now. And do it. We have no control. Thank you very much. All right, let's wake up. We got to...
Hey, yo, wake up.
It's cold, Basil. It's cold. Antarctica, go first. It's a snowstorm. Antarctica. Ice scientists are penguins. Antarctica, they're opening the abyss.
We not only live in a simulation, we create the simulation.
I'm still pretty convinced that if we are in a simulation, it's got its source code hooked in directly to this podcast.
Yeah, and I'm concerned that you're hearing robot voices because of stories like this.
Yeah,
from
exactly.
Newshub.co.nz.
Okay. You got it?
I don't know. Do you got it? You want me to do it? I could do it.
I got it. Newshub.co.nz. Headline: Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern's eye-popping discovery after Antarctica trip. So we covered that as a reward for COVID-0 in New Zealand, Jacinda Ardern, the sort of tyranny-based ruler of New Zealand, was rewarded with a trip to Antarctica, which we've theorized is sort of the heaven on earth for white, rich liberals, the promised land of the social justice milieu, the Great White Desert, as they call it. And Jacinda had got a little trip there. And here's this article. Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern has returned from Antarctica to discover her beloved Zespri kiwi fruit stuffed toy without an eye. Ardern shared a picture of her broken and sad-looking stuffed kiwi fruit with one of its plastic eyes broken. Quote, discovered this on my return, a full investigation to follow. Ardern met the life-size Zespri kiwi fruit mascot brothers most recently during her visit to Japan this year, and in 2019. It appears she brought the soft toy home as a souvenir from one of these trips. A selfie Ardern shared after this year's Japan trip showed the kiwi fruit mascot staring at her from a shelf in her prime ministerial office. Quote, ever get the feeling you're being watched? She captioned the Instagram story, which is a jingle we play on this show.
Almost verbatim from the Garfield show.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. And there's a little picture there you can see in the background is a kiwi fruit, the actual fruit with a big mouth and 2 googly eyes staring at her. One of Ardern's Instagram followers jokingly called for a royal commission of the inquiry into, quote, this outrageous and appalling event, and even blamed Ardern's daughter, Neve. Quote, perpetrator will be sent to bed early for a week. Another urged Ardern to check first with Thingy, Aurora's official ambassador for children's television during the 1990s. So she's got this little plushie of a kiwi fruit that has googly eyes. Apparently, it's been a staple for her Instagram or TikTok or whatever. But on returning from her Antarctica trip, there seems to have been some sort of crime committed, and one of the googly eyes has fallen off, Gons.
Gouged.
Is it a message? Is it a message? And I think it's especially interesting because, you know, the whole Pelosi thing, Nancy's out of town and danger comes to her home. And now Jacinda goes out of town and maybe somebody's sending her a message, or perhaps she's sending a message to someone else. What's going on, Gonzo?
Well, also she got these googly eyes from her trip to Japan, which is interesting show related.
So connection to you,
connection to
googly
me,
eyes, connection to me. Ever feel like you're being watched? Connection to the show.
Connection to the show. The trifecta.
My gosh.
It's
and Antarctica. Her return from Antarctica. What is going on? Like I said, if this is a simulation, the simulation is taking, the AI is taking an outsized proportion of material from this show, as we love to point out whenever it does happen, which it happens often.
These algo magicians are not very creative. They must rely on folks like us, apparently, for content or something.
Apparently, we are... we complain about our social media algorithms being stifled, but the algorithm pulling us into the simulation, crafting software is more than making up for it, apparently.
Yeah, and you made the analogy of having her office or something being rummaged through while she was gone, in parallel to the Paul Pelosi situation when Nancy's gone, some tampering happening at home. This was actually a lot more literal than you were saying. The Guardian.com here. Woman arrested after attack on Jacinda Ardern's office in Auckland.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Some crazy right-wing extremist attacked Jacinda's empty office.
Yeah. Well,
maybe that's when the eyeball came off. What's the mystery?
No. Can't connect the two. A woman has been arrested in relation to an attack on the Auckland office of Jacinda Ardern while the New Zealand Prime Minister is away visiting Antarctica, local media reported.
Oh my gosh.
Police said the 57-year-old was arrested at a Coatesville house and was taken into custody, according to news outlet Stuff. On Thursday morning, police and fire officers attended Ardern's electorate office in the central suburb of Morningside. Stuff reported a person was seen smashing a hole in the office door and throwing something inside before smoke came through the building.
Oh my gosh. The poor kiwi fruit googly eye thing
was attacked. So she's not joking when she's talking about retaliation.
No.
And maybe she kind of blames her daughter, but I don't know what's going on. A large knife.
Somebody else did, but yeah.
A large knife, which appears to be a machete or small sword, was also found on the footpath, according to a photo published by Stuff. A journalist heard firefighters warning the owner of a nearby shop not to, quote, touch the machete handle.
Yeah.
Police
let the plant-powered robot pick up the machete.
Yeah, seriously. Police confirmed they are, quote, making inquiries into a report of willful damage at an address on Great North Road. Quote, the incident was reported at about 8:20 a.m. where an object was thrown through the window, a police statement read. A scene examination will be conducted and inquiries remain ongoing. No injuries, but something is afoot. So a lot of politicians seemingly having physical altercations conveniently when they're not around.
Of course, yes, right. So conveniently when they're not around. And in this case, again, Antarctica being the utopia, the getaway for good white liberals.
She was safe in the white desert.
She was safe in the white desert as her reward for COVID-0. And because she was there, she was spared the attack by the crazy, right-wing extremist. So, I mean, the messaging is so clear. It just fits so perfectly into what we've been saying about Antarctica.
Yeah, this is all so weird.
We got to take all of our Antarctica clips and put them in one giant mega cut. We could do an entire feature-length documentary by just putting our Antarctica bits together in order, uncut, and it would tell the storyline perfectly.
We can call it putting
current events.
We can call it putting the ant in Antarctica. Little bits and pieces all strung together.
Ah, yes. The ants go marching will be the name.
There you go. See? This is that's how we do it.
That's good. That's good.
You gonna write that
all
down?
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah, sure. I'll write it down. No. Hey, audience, send an email to canarycry@gmail.com and remind us to do our Antarctica documentary. Thanks. Remember, it's the audience Siri. They're our digital assistant.
Right.
Yes. So, it's a real part of producing because, if you email us the things we request to be reminded of, you're technically like a personal assistant or like a production assistant. And things happen. I mean, I'm not joking. Things might not happen unless somebody emails us. We might completely forget. Yeah. So don't think that other people are emailing, by the way. If you feel like you want to help out the show, you really should email us when we ask. Because things will go undone unless you do. Yeah. So send us an email reminding us to put together all of our Antarctica clips into one big documentary. Yep. Okay, there we go. All right, Gons, we got to get you out of here, huh?
Yep. Time to go.
Okay. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We hope this was a great start to your week. We'll be back on Wednesday. I want to thank our executive producers, Executive Producer Anonymous and Executive Producer Felicia D. Of course, all of our producers who come in with your time, your talent, or your treasure. We could not do this show without your participation. And participation is the key word. Anybody can do it. Your time, your talent, or your treasure. I got to thank some people who help us out with their time. Thanks to the Clippies. Clippy on those videos. Thanks. Thank you to Emsworth and Faye Liverin. There are Clippies. They're clipping the segments out of the show, putting it up on the Canary Cry Clips channel, which is currently suspended, but you need to go follow us on YouTube and Odyssey, Canary Cry Clips. You'll be happy you did. Thank you to our timestampers. Timestamp, it's hard work. Timestamp. That's right. The timestamps are so important for so much of our back-end stuff. We could not do so many of our things if it weren't for the timestampers. They are diligent. They are powerful. And let's see here. For episode 553, I believe, is Jade Bouncerson. Thank you very much, Jade. I believe so. I just jumped on the dock and wait, no, I lied. This is Jackie Yu. Thank you, Jackie Yu.
Thank you, Jackie Yu.
Wait. Yes, it was Jackie Yu. Thank you, Jackie Yu. Go to canarycrymeetups.com.
Yes, do it.
Canary Cry Meetups.
canarycrymeetups.com. The meetups are such an incredible part of the community, meeting up with listeners of the show, producers of the show, in person, fellowshipping, doing all the wonderful, gaining all the wonderful benefits that come from meeting real people in real life and fellowshipping with them, talking about the fun stuff. You got so much in common, but not too much. People find their best friends, their spouses at these meetups. We got Phoenix, Arizona, November 4th and 5th. And we've got Merrillville, Indiana on November 5th. We heard that wonderful message from Sassy Frass there about that. So coming up 5 days or so, we got 2 meetups going on. And then that's pretty much, it's pretty quiet in November. Of course, we're moving into the holiday season, so that's a little tough. But if you're within striking distance of these meetups, you should definitely go to canarycrymeetups.com to get more information and for the contact info. But if there's not one near you, put it on yourself. It's so easy. Just pick a time, pick a place. We will tell the world, and you will meet Canarians in your area. I can almost 100% guarantee that there are Canarians in your area, no matter where you are in America. It's just a matter of, can we lure them out of their hiding places? So there you go. canarycrymeetups.com. We'll see you at the meetup.
This is fun. See you at the meetup.
Bing, bang, bang. Bong, bong. That's right. And leave us ratings and reviews on Apple Podcasts. I won't give you the whole spiel, but it is so important to us that we get ratings and reviews coming in at sort of a steady pace and as many of them as possible. As far as the algo wars are concerned, please go leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. I know everybody asks you to do that, but do it for us. Do it for us. Do it for Gons. And for nothing else, do it for the children. Be like Joey Licious 7, 5 stars. # If you know, you know. My favorite podcast, Basil and Gons, are the perfect balance of the left and right brain, a mix of Bible, news, arts, and laugh. But it's the Wednesday and 33 for me, says JoeyLicious7. Thank you very much for that. So go let JoeyLicious7 know what you think of the show by leaving a rating and a review on Apple Podcasts. Thank you to JM for the links. And other than that, share the show. Share it with your friends. Share it with your family. Folks, it's Reformation Day, and as happens every Reformation Day, children dress up in costumes to celebrate the Reformation. That's right, the 95 Theses being hammered onto some door by
hammered
some
on every
guy.
door. We're going to go
on every door.
Reformation
Exactly.
hammering.
So go
Lots of hammers
go
in the news.
print out, go to canarycryststreetteam.com. You'll see a collection of flyers that have been created by our very own Sir Dove, Knight of Rust Beltia, and a long-standing tradition for Reformation Day. Go print out those flyers, get yourself a hammer, a nail, or if you're more modern, get a staple gun. Go door to door in your cute little costumes and staple these Canary Cry Street Team flyers onto the door of each and every one of your neighbors. They will appreciate it, and they might even give you candy. You know, there's like a trick-or-treat thing for that other holiday, which we won't speak about. But for Reformation Day, we hammer the flyers onto our neighbor's door, and then they get to either give you candy or call the cops. And it's just part of the fun tradition. And, you know, the fastest children always make it to the next Reformation Day. So go give it a try. You don't have to share the show that way, but that's just one very unique way to do it. And if you get in trouble, you don't know me. I didn't tell you to do this, but you can share the show however you want. If you need more instructions, we call it rattling cages. And all you got to do is walk right up to him, grab him by the cage, and then you shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
That's right. Just ask Noah. Guns, any last words?
Yeah, just fun to see Twitter, the post-Elon takeover Twitter. My trending list here for me says
it's insane.
Doge, Hunter laptop, underwear, and libtard.
See, these are the things that would be trending if they weren't stifled.
Preventing from trending.
Isn't that hilarious?
It's hysterical.
It's hysterical. They lift the algorithms that stifle messages, and they are all. I mean, people complain that Twitter is taken over by the libs. I think it's been secretly dominated by people just skeptical of the mainstream narrative. By the way, I'm over here at canarycryststreetteam.com looking at these flyers again. They're so funny.
Yeah, they're so good.
I need to start putting this link. I popped it into the chat for anybody who wants to take a look at it, but I'm going to start putting it in the email, I think. Audience Siri, remind me to put canarycryststreetteam.com in the newsletter next time. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Make sure to tune in next time, but until then, think outside the cage.
See you in November.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Buy!
He's a Satanist, but one of the Satanist churches here where they sacrifice babies.
This is not about freedom or personal choice. We will hunt you down and make you pay.
When the news of the day gets to feeling like a maze, it's okay, don't be afraid if you don't know what to say. Canary, cry away. When your brain's in a haze and a headline days, come on to head my way, I can help you out the cage. Canary, cry away. Canary, cry away. Oh, canary, cry ways. Oh, the world's changing every day, each and every way you turn. There's another thing to learn. Reading in between the lines, thanking Jesus for our lives, and nice to see His glory shining like the sun. Run the race until it's done. Come on, everyone. Canary, cry ways. Oh, canary, cry ways. When your brain's in a haze and the headline days, come on, I have my way. I can help you out the cage. Canary, cry away.
This is the way.
Goodbye, everybody. And that's the end. And everyone says, oh, that was fun. Bye, 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 bye. I'm out of here. Bye.
CanaryCryRadio.com/support.